U.S. President Donald Trump has urged Iranians to keep protesting and take over institutions, and has assured them that help is on the way.
Well, no, they're starting to, it looks like, and there seem to be some people killed that aren't supposed to be killed. These are violent, if you call them leaders, I don't know if they're leaders or just they rule through violence. But we're looking at it very seriously. The military is looking at it, and we're looking at some very strong options. We'll make a determination. Well, if they do that, we'll consider things targets that they wouldn't believe. If they do that, we will hit them at levels that they've never been hit before. And they won't even believe it. I have options that are so strong. So, I mean, if they did that, it'll be met with a very, very powerful force.
So Iran's in big trouble. It looks to me that the people are taking over certain cities that nobody thought were really possible just a few weeks ago. We're watching the situation very carefully. I've made the statement very strongly that if they start killing people like they have in the past, we will get involved. We'll be hitting them very hard where it hurts. And that doesn't mean boots on the ground, but it means hitting them very, very hard where it hurts. So we don't want that to happen. There have been cases like this where President Obama totally backed down. But this is something pretty incredible that's happening in Iran. It's an amazing thing to watch. They've done a bad job. They've treated their people very badly, and now they're being paid back. So let's see what happens. We're watching it.
U.S. has proven its military capacity in Operation Midnight Hammer, where the United States military bombed Iran's nuclear facilities. U.S. B-2 stealth bombers, which flew a secretive and historic long-range mission, dropped 14 massive ordnance penetrators, also known as bunker buster bombs, on 3 critical Iranian nuclear sites: Fordow, Natanz, and Esfahan. As the situation between the U.S. and Iran escalates further, Israel's official state aircraft, Wing of Zion, has departed from Nevatim Air Force Base. The aircraft, which contains a private office, a war room, and sophisticated defense systems, serves as the primary transport for the Prime Minister. India's Foreign Minister S. Jaishankar has also received a call from Iranian Foreign Minister Sayed Abbas Araghchi. The foreign ministers discussed the evolving situation in and around Iran. The protests began as demonstrations in Tehran's bazaars over rampant inflation. The Iranian rial surged to $1 million against the U.S. dollar, marking a significant devaluation of the national currency in a
From your smartphones to your smart televisions, headlines are making waves everywhere tonight. First up, Pakistan has secured a spot at Donald Trump's newly launched Board of Peace. You heard that right. A platform unveiled at Davos to mediate conflicts starting with Gaza. Speaking of irony, the board's focus is Gaza, and yet terror state Pakistan itself was hit under Operation Sindoor just months ago for harboring terror networks. Now, as Trump positions himself as a peacemaker, Pakistan is paying its way into the peace club despite a troubled record on regional stability. Next up, a big move is also picking up pace in the digital safety arena where Andhra Pradesh may soon hit pause on social media for children under the age of 16. We'll also tell you about what's trending in sports, where a storm is brewing ahead of the T20 World Cup, with Bangladesh potentially facing a boycott of the India-hosted T20 World Cup. Tensions escalated after the two nations voted against India at the venue. We have all this and much more lined up in tonight's episode. I am Ayana Mitra and this is Trending. On to our first trending story of the evening, viewers. Pakistan has secured a seat at Donald Trump's newly launched Board of Peace. The body, unveiled at Davos, is being projected as a global platform to mediate conflicts, starting with Gaza. Islamabad is not just a member. Reports say that Pakistan has opted for a permanent seat at a cost of $1 billion. The move is being defended by Pakistan's government as a diplomatic investment and a commitment to global peace efforts. And here's why, and here's where the irony hits hard. Pakistan is buying a seat at a peace table even as it begs for $2.2 billion in financial support from the United Arab Emirates and relies on an IMF bailout to stay afloat. A country battling debt, inflation and default fears, now finding $1 billion for global prestige. Critics call it a case of misplaced priorities and question how a nation accused of exporting instability and terrorism can position itself as a peace broker. From economic distress at home to diplomatic grandstanding abroad, Pakistan's peace push is raising more eyebrows than hope. Donald Trump's Board of Peace, viewers, is being projected as a platform focused first and foremost on Gaza, aimed at ceasefire, reconstruction and diplomatic outreach. Yet, among its members is Pakistan, like we said, a country that just months ago was targeted and hit and struck under Operation Sindoor for hosting and enabling terror infrastructure, not just for months but for decades. Now, as Trump seeks to play peacemaker in Gaza, Pakistan is paying its way into the peace club despite being a troubled record on regional stability and security. The question arises on how does a state accused of fueling instability, its own neighborhood, credibly position itself as a stakeholder in global peace? And here's taking a look at another trending moment. Pakistan's Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif looks awkward and nervous as Donald Trump announces his new Board of Peace. He's on the global stage, but the cameras caught him frozen as other leaders posed, smiled and interacted. And viewers, remember, this isn't the first time Sharif has faced an uncomfortable moment on the world stage. Let's recap. Just last year at the SCO summit in Tianjin in China, videos showed Prime Minister Modi and Russian President Vladimir Putin engaging warmly while Shehbaz Sharif was left isolated, trying to catch up, looking visibly unsettled. In short, whether it's Tianjin or whether it's Davos, Shehbaz Sharif seems to be seemingly struggle to find his place among global leaders. And on to our next trending story of the evening, viewers, a big move and a bold idea. Andhra Pradesh may soon hit pause on social media for kids under the age of 16. From Davos to digital safety state, IT Minister Nara Lokesh says that Andhra Pradesh is studying an Australia-style ban on social media for children below the age of 16. Now, according to the government, children are being exposed to content they don't fully understand, like toxic trends, online abuse and digital addiction, which affects them. So now the state of Andhra Pradesh wants to lead the conversation in India. The plan still is under study. No final decision has been taken yet, but if cleared, this state could become one of the first in the country to draw a digital red line for minors. All right, joining us live on this edition of Trending is Karnika Seth. She's a cyber lawyer and a public policy expert. Ms. Karnika, thank you for joining us this evening. First up, ma'am, I want to ask you, what is your take on this social media ban that the state of Andhra Pradesh is mulling, and how viable do you think this is as far as the imposition of this is concerned in practicality?
Very valid question, Ayuna. It's something that we all understand that online crimes against children have been on the rise, and that is definitely a matter of huge concern. While we have also seen, complaints up to 177,000 odd complaints were filed even in 2023. When you look at statistics of crimes against children, especially in the digital space. Therefore, these kind of restrictions or these kind of regulations are, being debated not only in India but across the world. And my personal view on this is that while regulation is good when it comes to, say, for example, data protection, we just have a new law in India currently. We've had the DPDP Act, which is recently enacted, where parental consent, a verifiable parental consent will be required in order to collect and process any child-related data, be it social media platforms or any other, platforms where the children's data is collected and processed. Now, that is a good measure, definitely, and we are hoping a lot of crimes against children will be, curtailed with that. As far as the total ban is concerned, currently this issue is something which could really create ripples, because if you look at the constitutionality of that or the fact that it may be challenged in any court, it could be ultra virus, particularly because if you look at the union list and list 1, if you see entry 31 or the entry 97 in particular, you will see that this social media platforms, internet, broadband comes under such union list as such. So any kind of bans per se throughout India, the parliament alone has the final say on that, and how it can be actually brought into force and enforced later through regulations. Now, that's why in my personal view, that a fundamental right is not only protecting adults in the country, but also children. When we say children, Article 14 of the Constitution, 19, 21 of the Constitution of India, there are clear fundamental rights even children have. Therefore, this could be, brought as a matter of challenge, and particularly with the proportionality test, if you're placing a restriction on a ban or any kind of embargo and access to internet or even social media only, that itself could be, challenged and, a matter of whereas the sentiment, the motive is correct, the intention is correct to safeguard children's rights. In my view, the courts interpret fundamental rights of citizens, including children, in light of our Convention on the Rights of the Child, to which India is a signatory in particular. And if we look at even otherwise, when we talk about not just substantive law, I'm talking about the enforcement aspect. You will appreciate that, technologically we have software today, we have VPNs and other technologies through which IP addresses or the place of access can actually be spoofed or circumvented. So even the inherent nature of internet is such that, it would be difficult to enforce the law, even if it be enacted. So state is one aspect, whether a state alone can do it, because a state alone may not, under Indian constitutional law, validly do it unless the parliament takes it up as a central law. That's my take on it. But then I do have a solution that I think, in my considered view, could be a factor that they could consider, any legislative body could consider, or a government body could consider, which is keeping in mind the best interest of the children. Now, what that would mean is probably putting stricter controls to, have their privacy intact, safeguard their rights, at the same time, prevent any kind of harms to children. So with age-specific verifications, with DPDP compliance, and also, monitoring safety by design, models, whether it's apps or it's social media, and increasing the accountability of these platforms through repute abuse buttons and grievance redressals. One could just flag, the relevant issue, and immediate, action could follow. And having really dealt with these cases, I know that we've been able to manage to even bring down particular web pages which were defamatory or containing online sexual abuse content or cyberbullying content. Deep fakes, by just flagging the issue and reporting it to the social media platforms through grievance redressal processes. So in my view, if we increase platform accountability and if we increase safety by design approach in terms of how children can validly access the internet and have their social media accounts where they can have civic participation, autonomy, they can have education or freedom of expression, at the same time remain safe online. I think we have to go a balanced and a harmonious view. I think that alone should be in harmony with the Convention on Rights of the Child, looking at it internationally. Right. However, just one more comment. That Malaysia, France, other countries.
We echo with what you're saying. I'm sorry to cut you there in between, but just a little bit.
That's okay.
A little bit short on time, but we leave it at that, viewers. That is the big trending story of the day. Meanwhile, viewers, let's move on. Spotted online. It's a visual treat for astronomers. The Hubble snapshot, now viral, shows a cluster of stars located in one of the spiral arms of the galaxy, Caldwell 12. And that's not all. There's also a Webb's observation of the protostar EC53 uncovered. This comes along much sought-after evidence to explain why comets at the edge of the solar system contain crystalline silicates. Viewers, this isn't the end of it. Today seems to be a field day for astronomers galore, as NASA Hubble also captured an image of a newly forming star in the constellation of Orion, also known as the Hunter. Interstellar winds from this developing star, shining bright, has carved out a cavity in the surrounding cloud of gas and dust. All right, viewers, moving on, hot off the internet, straight to your screens. These are the hot trends of the evening. Bengaluru Airport is redefining the airport experience with the launch of Gate Z at Terminal 2, a first-of-its-kind social lounge designed with Gen Z sensibilities in mind. Blending eclectic furniture, art-forward spaces and tech-enabled features, the lounge aims to turn transit time into a lifestyle experience. Airport authorities say the space reflects a shift in how young travelers view airports not just as transit points but as destinations in themselves. Forced pilots escaped unhurt after their microlight aircraft crash-landed in a shallow wetland in Prayagraj during a routine training sortie. Officials said the aircraft suffered a technical malfunction, forcing an emergency landing in waist-deep, muddy water, after which locals rushed to the site after hearing a loud crash and helped pull the pilots out safely. Actor Varun Dhawan has shared an emotional behind-the-scenes note from the sets of his upcoming film Border 2, describing the project as one of the most physically and emotionally demanding experiences of his career. Posting a BTS photograph, Dhawan said, "The war drama pushed him to his limits and transformed him as an actor and individual." The film, a sequel to the iconic 1997 classic, is slated for release soon and has already generated significant buzz. Now, Virat Kohli and Anushka Sharma's chemistry has taken center stage in a new Dubai tourism campaign that has gone viral on social media. The ad captures the couple surprising each other with food, games and experiences across the city, from dessert lunches to beachside fun. Their playful banter and warmth have resonated with viewers while also showcasing Dubai as a vibrant and activity-packed destination. Rifle-mounted combat robots made a striking appearance during the Indian Army's Republic Day rehearsal on Kartavya Path in New Delhi. The display highlighted the Army's increasing focus on modernization, indigenous defense technology, and future-ready warfare capabilities. And mountaineer Rohtash Kileri from Haryana has scripted history by becoming the first person to spend 24 hours on the summit of Mount Elbrus without oxygen. Battling extreme winds, sub-zero temperatures and whiteout conditions, Kileri completed what no climber had managed before. His journey spanned 8 years with multiple failed attempts due to weather and rescue emergencies. Despite losing 2 fingers to frostbite, Kileri persisted and dedicated his historic feat to India, the Tiranga, and the dreamers who refused to give up. Concerns have been raised by the Bangladesh Cricket Board over player safety in India for the upcoming T20 World Cup. Now, they have drawn scrutiny after overseas players from the RCB camp were seen casually walking through the streets of Vadodara. Images and videos of the players moving freely have gone viral, prompting questions over the timing and the basis of safety concerns. 70-year-old man from Uttar Pradesh has become an unlikely social media star after his first ever vlog went viral, crossing nearly 30 million views in just 72 hours. In the video, Vinod Kumar Sharma introduces himself with humility, admitting he has no experience in vlogging but wanted to try something new post-retirement. His simplicity and authenticity struck a chord with viewers, proving age is no barrier to starting afresh. Now viewers, it's twist after twist ahead of the T20 World Cup. Now Bangladesh could be booted out of the tournament that is being hosted in India. Tensions are rising after 2 nations, that is Bangladesh and Pakistan, voted against India being the venue. And that's not all. Pakistan too is now reportedly considering a boycott, with cricketers pushing to stand in solidarity with Bangladesh. Now, if both countries opt out, the T20 World Cup could see 2 major teams missing from the lineup that has got the cricketing world debating and leaving gaming enthusiasts on the edge of their seats. Now, the ICC has taken a firm stand, rejecting Bangladesh's demand for a venue change for the T20 World Cup of 2026. Now, despite citing security concerns over travelling to India, the Bangladesh Cricket Board refused to back down even after meeting an ICC delegation. The ICC board upheld the original match schedule, stating that there was no credible or verifiable threat to the Bangladesh team's security. Now, amid rising India-Bangladesh tensions and the Mustafizur Rahman KKR controversy, the ICC has issued an ultimatum: 24 hours to confirm participation. Reports even suggested that Scotland was likely to replace Bangladesh if it refused to play in the World Cup. The drama has intensified as Pakistan has waded in. It came out in full support of Bangladesh, signaling a potential boycott of the T20 World Cup 2026 if Bangladesh's concerns were ignored. Now, in the ICC meeting on the 21st of January, Pakistan was the only member nation backing Bangladesh, while 14 others rejected the proposal. And ladies and gentlemen, as we count down to the nation's proudest day, the spirit of Republic Day 2026 is already in the air. Just 4 days to go from the thunder of boots and impeccable discipline at India Gate to a future shaped by modernization, cutting-edge technology and Atmanirbharta. The Indian Army stands strong, steadfast and future-ready. On the 26th of January, watch pride, valor, national spirit take center stage as the tricolour flies high. The nation salutes its guardians. With that, we sign off for tonight.
Co-powered by Century Ply Club Prime. रहो बेफिक्र.
MDH की देगी मिर्च,
देगी मिर्च का तड़का, अंग अंग फड़का.
MDH की देगी मिर्च.
अरे टेंशन किस बात की? सेंचुरी प्रोवुड का प्रीमियम प्लस है ना. लो एमिशन है, हाई डेंसिटी है, वाटर रेजिस्टेंट भी, टर्माइट एंड बोरो रेजिस्टेंट भी है. यानी ये है जहां नो टेंशन वहां.
प्रीमियम प्लस बाय सेंचुरी प्रोवुड.
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद, यही तो है इसकी खास बात. वाओ मामा, क्या स्वाद है. अरे मेरे राजा,
राजा और प्योर मसाला.
मेरी चिमनी टूट जाएगी. What are you doing?
रानी, इस घर में कुछ है जो टूटता नहीं.
ये पिलर कभी नहीं टूटेगा. रुंगटा स्टील TMT से बना.
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं. रुंगटा स्टील TMT बार एकदम सॉलिड.
अब छोलिया हो या लोबिया, सफेद चने या काले चने,
सब कुछ मजेदार बने.
मुस्कुराए लड़खड़ाए जिंदगी, चाहे जो भी हो.
सर, पेशेंट के लिए कौन सा रूम प्रेफर करेंगे आप?
जिंदगी भर के प्यार का कोई रेट कार्ड नहीं होता. टाटा AIG हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस, विद यू लाइक फैमिली, विद यू ऑलवेज.
आर प्योर शाही पनीर मसाला, डिलीशियस, हेल्दी एवरी डे.
Iran is boiling. Iranians are protesting against the Khamenei regime. U.S. President Donald Trump has urged Iranians to keep protesting and take over institutions, and has assured them that help is on the way.
Well, no, they're starting to, it looks like, and there seem to be some people killed that aren't supposed to be killed. These are violent, if you call them leaders, I don't know if they're leaders or just they rule through violence. But we're looking at it very seriously. The military is looking at it, and we're looking at some very strong options. We'll make a determination. Well, if they do that, we'll consider things targets that they wouldn't believe. If they do that, we will hit them at levels that they've never been hit before. And they won't even believe it. I have options that are so strong. So, I mean, if they did that, it'll be met with a very, very powerful force.
So Iran's in big trouble. It looks to me that the people are taking over certain cities that nobody thought were really possible just a few weeks ago. We're watching the situation very carefully. I've made the statement very strongly that if they start killing people like they have in the past, we will get involved. We'll be hitting them very hard where it hurts. And that doesn't mean boots.
Co-powered by Century Ply Club Prime. रहो बेफिक्र.
आधे बाउल दही में 4 चम्मच MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला डाला. स्टर करो, पुदीना चटनी तैयार. MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला.
At Amity University's 2-week summer school, students of classes 9 to 12 get to explore future undergraduate programs as per their interest from over 30 disciplines. Students attend lectures by Amity University faculty, gain experience at over 400 labs and learning studios, and attend personality enhancement workshops. Register now at amity.edu/summer school.
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद, यही तो है इसकी खास बात. वाओ मामा, क्या स्वाद है. अरे मेरे राजा,
राजा और प्योर मसाला. मुस्कुराए लड़खड़ाए जिंदगी, चाहे जो भी हो.
सर, पेशेंट के लिए कौन सा रूम प्रेफर करेंगे आप?
जिंदगी भर के प्यार का कोई रेट कार्ड नहीं होता. टाटा AIG हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस, विद यू लाइक फैमिली, विद यू ऑलवेज.
MDH की देगी मिर्च,
देगी मिर्च का तड़का, अंग अंग फड़का.
MDH की देगी मिर्च.
अरे टेंशन किस बात की? सेंचुरी प्रोवुड का प्रीमियम प्लस है ना, लो एमिशन है, हाई डेंसिटी है, वाटर रेजिस्टेंट भी, टर्माइट एंड बोरो रेजिस्टेंट भी है। यानी ये है जहां नो टेंशन वहां।
प्रीमियम प्लस बाय सेंचुरी प्रोवुड।
आर प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ,
8 मिनट में तैयार।
क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा आर प्योर मसाला।
Co-powered by Century Ply Club Prime. रहो बेफिक्र।
आर प्योर शाही पनीर मसाला, डिलीशियस, हेल्दी एवरीडे।
अरे टेंशन किस बात की? सेंचुरी प्रोवुड का प्रीमियम प्लस है ना, लो एमिशन है, हाई डेंसिटी है, वाटर रेजिस्टेंट भी, टर्माइट एंड बोरो रेजिस्टेंट भी है। यानी ये है जहां नो टेंशन वहां।
प्रीमियम प्लस बाय सेंचुरी प्रोवुड।
अब छोलिया हो या लोबिया, सफेद चने या काले चने,
सब कुछ मजेदार बने।
मुस्कुराए लड़खड़ाए जिंदगी, चाहे जो भी हो।
सर, पेशेंट के लिए कौन सा रूम प्रेफर करेंगे आप?
जिंदगी भर के प्यार का कोई रेट कार्ड नहीं होता। टाटा AIG हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस, विद यू लाइक फैमिली, विद यू ऑलवेज।
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद, यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा, क्या स्वाद है। अरे मेरे राजा
इसको घर पे लगाओगे तो शादी का तो पता नहीं, पर घर पक्का नहीं टूटेगा।
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं। रुंगटा स्टील TMT बार एकदम सॉलिड।
पहाड़ों में एक हाइकिंग शिप भी बन सकती है।
ये है सीक्रेट रेसिपी, MDH का जीरा सिप जल जीरा मसाला।
In 2022, he chased athletes from stadium to take his dog for a walk. In 2026, the dog walker Babu is made the boss of Delhi's MCD. Dog walker Babu gets promoted. Arnab's debate at 8 p.m.
The world is in denial, but I think Trump has announced that he's taking over Greenland completely and he doesn't expect the Europeans to put up a fight. He's threatened the use of excessive force. You know, the Western media, they've got it all wrong. They're saying that force is off the table. They're 100% wrong. Force is on the table. The Europeans are a weak continent. Today they are weak economically, they're weak militarily. Look at the words Trump is saying. He says, I want the ownership of Greenland. If there is a war, most of the fighting will be on that piece of ice. The Europeans have been the biggest opportunists, the biggest imperialists, the biggest slave traders. The Europeans are getting back today is their karma. NATO is today over. It's defunct. It's finished. Trump is doing what he's doing because he can afford to do it. He's trying to be popular in the United States of America. The colonizer is now being colonized. Europe is being colonized.
By the way, can I tell you a story about fame? Yeah. When I first came on TV as an anchor, I used to do something called Surkhiyan, which is the headlines in Hindi. I was freaked out about it every time because I would mess up my Hindi, but it was the only chance at anchoring. Then when I anchored a little bit, people little bit recognize you. So I stayed in Mayur Vihar. So when I used to take my car out to put petrol, the guy putting petrol said, "Sir, कौन से serial में आते हैं?" God, my journalistic career has gone for a toss. After all this reporting, sir, आप कोई serial में आते हैं?
American Aviation Group flags tech faults on Boeing 787. US probes Boeing, but India probes pilots after Ahmedabad crash. Has India decided to back Boeing. Arnab's debate at 8:30 p.m. The last video, moments before Noida techie drowned. He sat on the car and flashed his mobile torch. He was just meters away. Video confirms what nations suspected. The techie did not drown. They let him die. Progress for the People debate continues at 9 p.m. tonight.
Of experience, I think I have a very strange equation with fame. I enjoy it sometimes, but I've always been this borderline reticent shy guy. Even today, I love taking the metro. I love having chat, or going grocery shopping with my wife. But I still want to go out and play cricket with my friends. I am famous. That's the reason I'm here with you today. I'm enjoying my time with you. Yeah. But I think I know the transient nature of this.
Yeah, you should know.
Always know.
Always know.
Can I ask you, you're so famous. How do you deal with this?
I have a theory about it. As a satire to my life, I say, you put a lamppost on TV for 25 years at 9 o'clock every night, it will be a very famous lamppost. Life has given me the opportunity of being at 9 o'clock, and now that I own my own network, whether people like it or not, I will come at 9 o'clock till I decide to retire, because I can't be sacked. But the question is... The world is in denial, but I think Trump has announced that he's taking over Greenland completely, and he doesn't expect the Europeans to put up a fight. He's threatened the use of excessive force. The Western media, they've got it all wrong. They're saying that force is off the table. They're 100% wrong. Force is on the table. The Europeans are a weak continent. Today they are weak economically, they're weak militarily. Look at the words Trump is saying. He says, I want the ownership of Greenland. If there is a war, most of the fighting will be on that piece of ice. The Europeans have been the biggest opportunists, the biggest imperialists, the biggest slave traders. The Europeans are getting back today is their karma. NATO is today over. It's defunct. It's finished. Trump is doing what he's doing because he can afford to do it. He's trying to be popular in the United States of America. The colonizer is now being colonized. Europe is being colonized.
Last video, moments before Noida techie drowned. He sat on the car and flashed his mobile torch. He was just meters away. Video confirms what nations suspected. The techie did not drown. They let him die. Progress for the People debate continues at 9 p.m. tonight.
From the Republic Media Network headquarters, it's time for Arnab Goswami on the debate. Arnab Goswami on the debate.
On the show tonight, the walk the dog Babu, who was thrown out for vacating a stadium for his pet stroll, comes back as the commissioner of the MCD. On the show tonight, why the Americans say Boeing is at fault, but the Indian investigators say nothing doing, is probably the pilot. At 9 o'clock tonight, the last video of Yuvraj that proves that while everyone watched, he was allowed to die, and the question it raises as we continue to demand progress for the people. And ladies and gentlemen, the more things change, the more things remain the same. Nothing seems to have changed in our country. Why else would a man who disgraced the IAS and the Indian Civil Service by vacating an entire stadium so that he could walk his dog. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, an IAS officer of the 1994 batch was posted in Delhi along with his wife, who's also an IAS officer, and the IAS officer couple decided that they need some peaceful moments while they walk their dog. So they said, listen, there's a stadium out there built at the cost of hundreds of crores of rupees. We want to walk in that stadium. We are IAS officers. Throw out all the people, throw out all the sportsmen, because the taxpayer pays money so that we can walk our dog in a stadium. Ladies and gentlemen, at that point of time, this man was Principal Secretary, Revenue, and he closed all the sporting activities. He said that when I walk my dog, make sure no athlete is in sight, because my dogs and the me time my dogs get is much more important than any athletes practicing. Ladies and gentlemen, here are the pictures of the walk the dog couple. We felt that the government takes the anger of the people seriously. And so when this story was exposed in the media, the walk the talk arrogant bureaucrat was thrown out and transferred as Principal Secretary to Ladakh for health and medical education. And now, let me tell you, the government of India has brought him back. And not in any ordinary position, but he's been made the man in charge of the New Delhi Municipal Corporation. He is the Municipal Corporation of Delhi. He will head the MCD, which has a budget of 17,000 crore rupees, which oversees the welfare of a population of crores. So the walk the dog bureaucrat who abused the system became the symbol of bureaucratic arrogance and insolence, is rewarded by the government of India, which proves, ladies and gentlemen, that all this disciplinary action thing is a sham. All the government wants to do is what in Hindi is called jhasa, a pretense. A jhasa and a pretense of action. Why else would you insist that the walk the dog, the walk the dog, the walk the dog bureaucrat who hit the headlines for emptying